But there was a problem at the other end of the train. Even if the daylight were ready by opening day, there was little chance it would do any good. It had finally come to the Foundation's attention that the daylight was just too big for rail corridors in the east. It was too tall for some tunnels, too long for some curves. Many at the Foundation were relieved. Restoration of the daylight could proceed at a more reasonable pace, while the Freedom Train would simply begin its tour behind diesels. But Ross wouldn't have it. He knew in his heart that the steam engine would draw as many people to the train as the artifacts would. The Freedom Train simply couldn't debut without steam. And Ross had a plan. With 30 days to go before opening day, Ross arranged for the purchase of one of two identical steam engines found sitting at Striegel's Supply Company in Baltimore. The 2101 was called the 30-Day Miracle. Over 100 volunteers worked round the clock on the T1 and were literally still painting it as it rolled out into the sun. Indoors, nobody had noticed that what they thought was a red stripe was really more of an orange stripe. But no matter, the T1 was alive and ready for duty. Built in 1945, the T1 ran until 1955 and was kept ready for additional service until 1967, when it was officially retired. Almost 3 feet shorter in length and 1 foot shorter in height than the Daylight, the T1 was just the ticket for the northeastern part of the Freedom Train's journey. After 2 quick test runs and a federal inspection, the T1 was set to go. As the paint was drying on the fastest steam locomotive restoration in history, the American Freedom Train got its final assembly at Cameron Station. An evening preview was held for staff and invited guests, and the Freedom Train was on its way the morning of March 28th, behind a Southern diesel. The T1 arrived outside the military reservation just in time to take over for the short trip to Alexandria Station. The T1 would have to earn its place with the Foundation, which still considered it less than reliable. It was a proud moment for Ross and his crew, as their steam engine arrived just in the nick of time. After a short dedication ceremony at the Alexandria Station, the train moved through Washington, D.C. and north to its first display date in Delaware. Delaware Park in Wilmington, Delaware, was the site chosen for the first display date. Setup took over 2 days, and when the doors opened, it was a logjam. Free admission for the first few hours was soon extended to all day as the crowd challenged the moving walkway's capacity, and the line of waiting people stretched for nearly a mile. The American Freedom Train was underway, and there was no stopping it. The T1 proved reliable, and the staff settled into the routine they would come to know by heart.